These are the Tourmaster Solution Air Boots. I'm Jim.
And I'm Duke.
And this is Moto Gear Review. So these boots I've had for about 2 years now, and they are, as of December 4th, 2024, $139.99 on Amazon and Cycle Gear.
Let's just call it 140.
It's 140. Yeah, I don't know why they put the 99. So there was some confusion as Duke and I were looking these boots up here, trying to get the specs on them that I have long since forgotten in the past 2 years. And the websites have the Solution Air 2.0 listed. They look exactly like the Solution Airs that I have in my hand.
Exactly like.
Could not tell a single difference between them. Not sure if they just didn't update the stock photos, but we'll have to take that at face value, honestly. These are a Euro size 46, US men's 12, and they fit me spot on. They're very true to size. I have a very average foot, not very wide, not very narrow, just kind of like right in the middle. I've never had an issue with boots being any kind of weird shape for me, so I fit into most things pretty well.
And I have a 14 size foot that's super narrow, and they somehow fit into these.
Either Fort Knox.
What?
They fit?
No way, dude, my toe. No way.
I was honestly shocked because they fit me like a glove, and 2 sizes difference in US sizes, and they are...
My toe wasn't quite smashed, but if you're 14, don't buy a 12. Anyhow, right. They fit pretty accurately.
Somehow it'd be doable if you had to borrow them on the way home, but
right,
you know, that's honestly very surprising. So, who are these boots good for? I would honestly say that these are going to be more your touring boots. You could fit into sport touring. If you're looking for a sport boot on a budget, there's better options out there, to be honest, but these are not a bad option by any stretch of the imagination. They are very, very lightweight. We measure these on a scale. The pair of them are only 25 ounces. It is an ounce over 1.5 pounds for both boots. So extremely lightweight. They are made out of an Italian microfiber and mesh. That's what the website says for their construction. I don't know what Italian microfiber is, to be honest. But it seems fairly durable.
It's probably spelled different, like micro space fiber.
Microfibre.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the Italians. So that is kind of one of my first things that I notice about them is the level of protection that they have is average, I would say, for a riding boot. It's a little bit of a step up above your normal riding shoe, like your lace-up sneakers and the real comfortable ones that are meant for more urban riding, urban commuting. They do come up. There is some decent shin protection on them. The toe box and heel boxes are relatively stiff, to be honest. A lot stiffer than your riding shoes are going to be, but it's not quite to the level of protection that you're going to get out of an actual sport riding boot. So the soles on them will fold pretty easily. There is almost no lateral stability in these at all. They're very, very soft side to side. So I would say, you know, you're doing some long distance touring in the hotter months. These would really, you know, they serve you well. I've commuted in them for about 2 years in the summer, and I don't really have any complaints other than, you know, like I said, I would like to see a little bit more protection out of them. But at that price point, you're not really going to find something that's 100% leather, has all the different, you know, protective features of these boots. You are going to have to look in probably higher price points for something with an all-leather construction. Like I said, they are very, very lightweight. They are extremely comfortable, and that flex in the sole of them makes them actually pretty good for walking around. So, you know, if you're walking in something like motocross boots, it's, you know, like your foot doesn't
squeaky,
bend
they're
at
stiff.
all.
You're like
these have some flex, so you can get around
a lot more comfort though.
Pretty decently. Yeah, so if you're doing, like I said, long distance touring riding, I think these are really gonna shine. The Velcro on these is actually pretty awesome. I haven't seen a lot of boots with this feature, so to get into them, simply pull the Velcro panel over, but then on the zipper, there is a small Velcro tab. And when you put the boots on, stick that in right between the flaps, and that zipper does not move up and down. I've had several pairs of boots, and I think these might be the only ones, aside from my Alpine Stars, that have that feature. And I really like it personally.
It's a feature I really like too. It's on the new boots I got.
So the zipper goes down very far, very easy to get into, in and out of. And you know, the zipper enclosures, very smooth. I never had them jam up on me or anything, which is a big pet peeve of mine, to be honest. If you're not gonna put a decent quality zipper on a piece of gear, I'm just not interested in keeping it, to be honest. The shifter pad on these is actually a fantastic feature. It sits right where all the shifters on all the bikes that I would use these on that I have owned and or ridden, the shifter always falls on that shifter pad. I have had boots where the shifter's falling way up here, where the shift pad is way too high and I'm shifting on my toes instead of that. Like I said, the toe box is decently stiff on these, so you get a good crisp shift up every time. They're very, very comfortable rocking back and forth. Your ankle never feels restricted, but they are kind of stiff enough to where if you're on a touring bike, like my Tracer 9 GT, very upright seating position. It's a very comfortable sport tourer, and these have my ankle in a very comfortable position, but they also have some support, so where my ankles aren't flexing down the entire time, and that keeps it a lot more comfortable when I'm riding 6, 7, 8 hours at a time during the day. They are extremely breathable. I will say that about them. The mesh does a very, very good job at flowing air through it. Even the perforations in the microfiber, you can feel air moving through them. There's good ventilation out the back of the boot, so you actually have air moving through instead of just kind of hitting the top of your foot like a lot of boots do.
Not your favorite cold weather boots.
No. I made the mistake of thinking that I would ride with these, and it was about 50 degrees in the morning, and my toes were numb. They do flow that much air. The style of them I actually really like. I think they're a good looking boot. There's nothing particularly ugly or sharp looking about them. They're just right in the middle. They're just a pretty normal looking pair of boots.
The shifter, the toe shifter is like the only thing that says maybe I'm a little bit sporty. Mm-hmm. Maybe I like to get froggy sometimes.
Yeah. No, that's the hooligan patch, right? So let's move on to what I don't like about these boots. And unfortunately, I am kind of a numbers guy. I'm a stickler for safety ratings. I know a lot of riders out there could really care less, and there are some of us nerds out there that are just looking up all the specs and all the features and everything that it meets. So these do not have a single shred of safety ratings anywhere on them or on the manufacturer's website, any website that sells them. I cannot find a single rating of how these will actually fare or if they've even been tested in a crash. Aside from that, again, not seeing leather on them for a touring boot, you're gonna see highway speeds. I don't know. I can't say that this wouldn't protect you in a slide, but again, at this price point, you're asking a bit much if you're looking for leather, full leather especially, perforated leather. They get very expensive. It has the features there that you would think this would be a protective boot. Like I said, crush protection is decent. The sole on them is extremely stiff side to side. There's just not that stability where you're folding your foot in half. And certainly if you go under the bike and something comes on top of it, your ankle is not going to be faring so well. But all in all, they're not a bad boot. Like I said, I've been using them for about 2 years.
And then it just cuts to us like the video, subscribe to our channel.
Very comfortable, very light. If you're looking for something, you can just hop on the bike, cruise down the interstate, take some nice back roads and everything.
What about this?
So these are about as thin as a sheet of paper.
Pretty standard for a boot.
Right.
Motorcycle boot.
So, unless you get into some very high-end boots, you're really not going to get that fantastic arch support, that real,
So the question is, would you replace the insoles?
I haven't had a problem with them. And I think the only reason is because the sole of them actually is decently hard to where I'm not feeling a lot of stress on the ball of my foot when I'm on the shifter. I like the feedback, and I feel when I start to get a lot of squish on the bottom of my foot, especially I notice it with a soft sole, I lose a lot of that tactile feel on the shifter and the brake pedal, so that the braking modulation kind of, and not that it suffers a bit, you can make do, obviously, but it is nice having a slightly stiffer sole if you're doing more spirited riding and also long distance riding, because it does not allow the peg to dig into your foot over, if you're riding many hours a day, crushing hundreds of miles at a time, it is going to cut down on that fatigue factor. And I will tell you from the experience of riding thousands of miles in a single weekend that every little bit of comfort helps. It doesn't matter how small it is.
What about this? Is this enough to hook onto the pegs when you want to relax and just kind of let your foot just sit on the peg?
So I've never had an issue with them slipping off, but I will say there is a very gradual slope to them. It's not a very aggressive kind of cut off.
It's just not real sharp there.
A lot of your cruiser boots, you'll have a huge, chunk on the heel of it, and it almost looks like you're wearing high heels even in men's boots. This doesn't have, if you're just trying to slide it down, it does kind of feel like a little swooshy. There's not really like a stiff, like, bam, I'm on the peg.
I got you.
But all in all, I have not had my foot, say, slip forward off of the peg, trying to rush to the brakes or anything.
You just don't have that solid feel.
Right.
I got you.
So, like I said, I've walked around in these for a little bit, and they've been, fairly comfortable. But all in all, I think you're really just looking at something very cost effective. Honestly, $140 is not bad. That was the price for these, as well as the 2.0s, which apparently look identical. So at that price point, they're not a bad option, to be honest.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our review of the Tourmaster Solution Air Boot. If you like this content, go down there, hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and tell us what your favorite pair of boots is, because next review, well, we got to get boots for our next review, so let us know what we need to buy.
Yeah. With his money. That about wraps it up for our review on the Tourmaster Solution Air Boots. As always, I'm Jim.
And I'm Duke.
Stay safe, y'all.
Live free, ride hard.